Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special holiday episode for the Thick and Spooky Ghouls. And joining me today would be my partner in crime, GinjaNinja. Hi, baby.
Hello.
Hi. So, I really had fun doing this recording with you last year for Christmas time when we talked about the parol. And so I had another one that I wanted to do with you today, which is about um, a special holiday that happens in the Philippines, which is kind of like the Philippines' version of Halloween.
Nice. Do it.
Yeah. Okay, so did you know that November 1st is a very important holiday in the Philippines? It's known as Araw ng Mga Patay, which translates to Day of the Dead. It's also known as Todos los Santos and even Undas. So here in America, they have Halloween, and then after that, they also have Dia de los Muertos here. And so I guess this would be very similar to Dia de los. I can't say it now. De los Muertos. Sorry, I'm
Day
struggling
of the
here.
Dead.
Yeah, so it's very similar to that tradition. So in the Philippines, though, as a tradition, our families will gather together, and then we would all come together and visit our family cemetery. Is where we would go. And so, what we would do when we would get there is that we would clear the weeds, any possible trash, any debris, any overgrowth, anything that is dirty or that's making the gravesite messy. We clean it up. So after we actually clean up the weeds, trash, debris, and all that other stuff, they then we would bring a bunch of candles and a bunch of flowers. Um, Usually they use white flowers, but you can use all sorts of flowers. But the white flowers are very prominent in this tradition. So what we would do is we would put the candles and decorate the graves with candles and flowers. And so we would have like a decoration of different flowers and a flower like the flower that you mostly see in graves, or the most common one would be the chrysanthemums, which is this white flower. It kind of uh, looks like a rose. It's kind of like a rose, but not as rose. It's a little spikier around the edges. But anyways, we usually have those in the on the graves or on the display because white is that specific flower and white is supposed to remind us that today is also a solemn day, and so they would usually decorate the graves with chrysanthemums and all sorts of white flowers. But other flowers can get added to the decoration. But this specific white flower is very symbolic in our tradition. So after we decorate the graves, after we clear the graves and decorate them, another very important tradition for Araw ng Mga Patay is that the families would pretty much celebrate with food. So food, music, and merriment. And so families will prepare in advance their favorite dishes and then bring them to the cemetery for like a picnic setup. So they'll bring like different foiled tubs of food of their favorite foods, and then they'll basically set up a feast where your family gravesite is. And so that's a very important thing because Filipinos are very community. We're like a very community people. Like we thrive in communities, and so um, being with your family and doing something like this is very important in the tradition because it keeps you united, keeps you strong, keeps you connected. So after the graves have been cleared, we would then eat these foods. Um, and then we literally hang out at the cemetery all day. Like we would just be there all day, and we'll even be there at nighttime, and then we'll have like a night picnic. But to be honest, I remember playing in the family gravesite and eating all day. I remember that. Like I remember constantly, like I would just be playing with my cousins and then I'd be eating. There wasn't a time that I wouldn't eat. So it's not just like you eat a little bit in the morning. I pretty much eat all day. But yeah, they like to have night picnics at the family graves. And while we're doing that and gathering, we also like to talk about our life, celebrate life, but also remember the loved ones that we've lost and remember memories of them. Pretty much just, just being there and present. And there's also like there's several popular dessert dishes that get brought here, but for us, I remember it was always bibinka. And bibinka is like a rice cake. It's a rice cake that's made with sticky rice flour, sugar, and coconut milk, and it's very sweet and it's chewy. And it was one of my favorite desserts that I would have there. There's also halo halo, and it's also not only that, but not only is this like a family gathering and bring food there, there's actually a lot of street vendors that will park around or outside the cemetery, and basically they would sell all sorts of things because some of these are actual carts that they push and then they bring to the site, or some of them are literally a bicycle that they've driven that has a little box connected to it, usually for ice cream or taho. They have that kind of transportation, or others it's like the push cart. So like near the cemetery you would see all sorts of street vendors, and they sell things like candles, they sell all sorts of flowers, they sell different foods. They have like let's see, what kind of foods do I remember? There's always fishball. We always ate the fishball, which was like this they're like round little flat puffs of fish, and then they fry it in the oil, and then they put it in a stick. You stab it with a stick, and then you dip it in this sweet. It's almost like a teriyaki sauce, and then you eat it. And it was one of my favorite things to snack on. So fish balls was one of the ones that I like. Yes, it sounds dirty, but the other one is taho. I remember that. There's also a lot of ice cream vendors. Will like there would be like a man with a bicycle with a little cart behind him, and he has like scoopable ice cream that'll serve you. And then they would have boiled quail eggs, and I know you love quail eggs. Like,
Oh my
can
goodness.
you imagine like going to the cemetery and seeing the street vendor with a stick, right? It's a stick, and it has all sorts of quail eggs inside of these plastic bags sealed together with a little packet of salt, and you buy a bag and you could just eat the quail eggs right then and there.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Want some?
so they also have all sorts of barbecued meat and even grilled chicken feet. I remember that. And yes, there's some vendors that bring balot. Yes, but yes, so there's all sorts of foods that I remember seeing in the cards. So I just remember this day specifically because not only was it like I got to spend time with my family, but it was just not only was there a lot of food, but I just really liked the community. I remember the community and just like staying there all day. And I have such fond memories of just running around in the cemetery and playing with my cousins and eating all these foods. And then one of the things that I remember is there's not only like there's also street vendors that sell flowers, but there's also some that sell a specific flower arrangement that is one of my favorites. That it's all over the place. Well, I don't know if they're there anymore, but when I was a kid, you would see these street vendors all the time, and they had these flower wreaths that they made out of sampaguita, and sampaguita is the national flower for the Philippines. It's part of the jasmine family, and it smells absolutely delightful. If you like the smell of jasmine, it smells so good. But it's called sampaguita, and so they would make like little necklaces or little chains with these, and so you can like literally just put on the necklace so you can smell the flowers, or you can drape the necklace on top of the grave. But it smells absolutely delightful. Yeah. So they would have vendors that have that, and they would sell like wreaths of these. And the thing, oh my god, I can't stop talking about it. But sampaguita, it's one of my favorite flowers, and it's it's actually, the name comes from a Filipino phrase. And so sampaguita is the name of the flower, but the phrase that it came from is called sumpa kita, which translates to I promise you. That's what it translates to. So this specific flower is native to the Philippines. It's the national flower, and it's actually very deeply woven into the culture of our family. Like I said, they make chains of necklaces or crowns and bracelets with them. and they sometimes give those as offerings, and it's also given to someone as a symbol of mutual love. And then the flower specifically symbolizes purity, simplicity, humility, and hope. So it's a great flower, and oh man, I miss it. I think, yeah. So it smells a little different from a jasmine, but jasmine's pretty close. Ylang ylang and jasmine. It might be between the ylang ylang and jasmine scent. It's really really nice, but I just thought it would be really fun to talk about this specific tradition because it's so different from the American Halloween. Where you guys get dressed up and then we go trick or treating and then we collect candy and we watch scary movies, and it's just it's so different in that sense. Like, one is so commercial, and then the other one, it's so rooted to, like, just our family. It's kind of, yeah, but I absolutely actually miss it. And our family grave is all the way in the Philippines, and someday I'll be buried there. But yeah, I miss this. Can you imagine all 12 of us, me and my cousins, all 12 of us in the cemetery running around chasing each other? Oh my goodness, there's so many
Absolutely.
of us.
I'm getting Coco vibes.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's very similar to Dia de los Muertos. It's very similar in that sense, and yeah, it's a very family thing. So that's, yeah. So aside from the Philippines and um, and Halloween and Dia de los Muertos, the All Saints Day is actually celebrated across the world differently, different cultures, different ways to celebrate it. But there's usually, they're everywhere. So what do you guys do for All Saints Day? Do you have any other special traditions that you remember fondly?
For Halloween, that's mostly just Halloween.
Mostly Halloween.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I remember
I love Halloween.
my grandma.
So.
Yeah, I remember my grandma and my dad always taking me out for Halloween. Just going to different houses, different neighborhoods. I remember the best neighborhood that always handed out the big candy bars. We'd hit
Pink
that one
sign.
first before any of the big kids got it. That was always
Yeah.
the priority.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I actually did dress up as a ninja 1 year. Just,
Were you
for context.
a ninja? Were you orange?
No, I was a regular ninja.
You're like, I wasn't
Before
as creative yet.
I wasn't involved yet. I wasn't. I didn't become my orange true form yet.
But
So
thanks for listening. I just wanted to record this and share another Filipino family tradition that I remember. And I like sharing a little bit about my family history with you because, like, as attuned as we are to each other, we have such different backgrounds. It's pretty crazy.
absolutely, of
But thanks for joining me.
course.
All right, I'm
Stay
gonna go
thick,
ahead
stay spooky.
Yeah. Well, you want to do it with me? Okay, I can say we'll stay thick, and then you can say and you stay spooky. You want to try it? You're
Yeah.
gonna say
All right.
and you stay spooky. Okay, ready?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Miso, we love you. Okay, here we go. We'll stay thick.
And you'll stay spooky.
Hey. Thank you, Baba.